This is session 12. Hi students. So far in previous session we discussed SN2 reaction and stereochemistry, factors favorable for SN2 reaction. In SN2 reaction we discussed that substitution nucleophilic biomolecular means in rate law both a nucleophile and a substrate are going to participate. Now we are going to discuss SN1 reaction, substitution nucleophilic unimolecular. You can guess it. Unimolecular means only one molecule is going to take part in rate law, that is only substrate. Let us see how this reaction proceeds. Tertiary butyl bromide upon boiling with methyl alcohol. Tertiary butyl bromide upon boiling with methyl alcohol. Basically methyl alcohol is solvent. When we are using methyl alcohol upon boiling, we are getting tertiary butyl ether. This one is tertiary butyl ether. So if you observe this reaction, Br displaced by OCH3. That means Br has to come out as Br minus and OCH3, CH3OH attacks upon that carbon. We are getting this tertiary butyl ether product. So it is very clear this one also substitution nucleophilic. But here we did not use any nucleophile. Whereas in case of SN2 reaction, we are using one solvent, one substrate, and in addition to that nucleophile, that too we learned which nucleophile we have to use and what are the precautions we have to take. That all factors already we learned. But here we are not supposed to use any separate nucleophile. The solvent itself only here acts as a nucleophile. See, the reaction in which solvent acts as a nucleophile, such reactions are called solvolysis. Such reactions are also called solvolysis. Solvolysis means, olysis means breaking of bonds by using solvent. Breaking of bonds by using solvent is called solvolysis. Here methyl alcohol is solvent which undergoes solvolysis, and which one undergoes solvolysis? Tertiary butyl bromide undergoes solvolysis in presence of methyl alcohol solvent. Okay, fine. Methyl alcohol acts as solvent, and which bond is going to break? C-Br bond breaking takes place here. That means for carbon and leaving group bond will broken in presence of solvent methyl alcohol. But methyl alcohol here acts as a nucleophile. Solvent only acts as nucleophile, means methyl alcohol nucleophile. But in previous session we discussed that methyl alcohol is a weak nucleophile and methoxide ion is a strong nucleophile. Methyl alcohol is a weak nucleophile, methoxide ion is strong nucleophile. Yes, obviously methyl alcohol is a weak nucleophile. Sir, is there any possibility for SN2 reaction? When you mentioned that methyl alcohol only nucleophile, okay, fine, methyl alcohol nucleophile, and you use substrate one alkyl halide. So can't we say here methyl alcohol approaches from rare side? No, not possible, because in case of tertiary butyl bromide, leaving group containing carbon is attached to 3 alkyl groups. Leaving group containing carbon is attached to 3 alkyl groups, which causes more hindrance. Means because of more bulkiness, they do not allow methyl alcohol towards electrophilic carbon. That means here there is no scope for SN2 mechanism. That means rare side attacking of a nucleophile. There are two parameters. One is the nucleophile which we are using, that one is a weak nucleophile. Because of weak nucleophile, SN2 is not possible. SN2 reaction requires strong nucleophile. And tertiary butyl bromide, which is a hindered one, highly hindered one. Because of tertiary butyl bromide is highly hindered one, here SN2 reaction is not possible. So here you came to one point here, conclusion, that is the conditions which required for SN1 is completely different from SN2. Means what conditions they required for SN2? we need strong nucleophile and we need less hindered substrate to get SN2 product. But here we are using quite contrary. Means we are using more hindered alkyl halide and weak nucleophile. So opposite to that one. That means here SN1, SN2 are not in competition. SN1, SN2 are not in competition. The conditions what we need for SN2 is different from conditions what required for SN1 product. So remember that point. Now let us see how this mechanism proceeds. First step, tertiary butyl bromide, because of leaving group containing carbon is tertiary carbon and the CBr bond readily undergoes solvolysis, means because of solvent here this bond is going to break and here leaving group comes out by taking electron as a Br minus and leaves one carbocation. What is intermediate here? It is carbocation. That means in case of SN2 reaction we discussed that there is no intermediate formation, nucleophile approaches from rear side and departing leaving group will be departed slowly. Both the steps happen simultaneously and we mentioned that that mechanism is a concerted mechanism, means at a time all bond breaking and making takes place, but in SN1 not like that. So initial step, first step, formation of carbocation. Formation of carbocation. For formation of carbocation, leaving group has to depart completely and for departing that leaving group, carbon halogen bond has to break. For that solvent going to help. So the tendency or the ability to break the bond, to polarize, that what we called dielectric constant. So simple here, in the first step breaking of a bond, it generates two ions. One is cation, another one is anion. One is cation, another one is anion. So until unless these two are stabilized, there is no possibility to get back the original reactant, right? So if these two are stable, then there is no scope to get back reaction. That means if forward reaction holds good, then these two ions whatever we are getting, these two are much more stable. If these two are stable, in such a case forward reaction takes place more, otherwise back reaction. But breaking of bond is slow step. Breaking of bond is slow step. Being a slow step, it is a rate determining step. First step, formation of ions, cation and anions, and that step slow step. That step rate determining step compared to the remaining steps. Okay. Now here formation of carbocation and halide. This one happens only in case of polar solvents. Only in case of polar solvents. In previous session already we discussed that polar solvents means like water, alcohol, ammonia, like that. Those solvents which are able to form hydrogen bonds. Preferably we are using. And in polar solvents again, the solvent which has more dielectric constant. That one preferably use. More the dielectric constant of the solvent, more the solvolysis of the substrate. More the dielectric, that means dielectric constant is directly proportional to solvolysis, we can say. So first step, ionization. Ionization preferably in polar solvents. Polar solvents means like water, alcohol, ammonia, those which are able to form hydrogen bond we can consider, and dielectric constant more. So the solvent which possesses more dielectric constant. So sir, shall we use water which has high dielectric constant, nearly 78. Water dielectric constant is 78. So dielectric constant means the ability to weaken the bond. Dielectric constant means what? We can say ability to weaken the bond in between carbon and leaving group or halogen, whatever it may be. So the solvent, if it has a more ability to weaken this bond, then it is directly proportional to the ability to form ions. Okay, fine sir. How polar solvents stabilize these ions? Yes, polar solvents being they can solvate both cation and anion. I will show a little bit later. Both cation and anion is getting solvated. And in previous class we already learned that here in water molecule if we consider, this hydrogen gets partial positive charge, this oxygen gets partial negative charge. Now this partially positively charged hydrogens are going to surround around Br minus. Repeating, water molecule high dielectric constant 78. That means this bond OH bond is more polarizable. More the dielectric constant, more the polarity of the solvent. That means hydrogen acquires partial positive charge, oxygen acquires partial negative charge. Here the partially positively charged hydrogens come and surround around this Br minus, and partially negatively charged oxygen atom of another water molecules go and surround around carbocation. That means carbocation is surrounded by water molecules and formed halide ion also surrounded by water molecules. In other words, carbocation are surrounded by solvent molecules. Here bromide ion surrounded by solvent molecules. So solvation takes place. Once solvation happens, whenever this Br minus is surrounded completely around, all this Br minus is completely surrounded by partially positively charged of hydrogen, then its nucleophilicity decreases, and it has basic intention like it want to attack upon positive charge. Now that desire reduced, so that means Br minus can be stabilized, and this carbocation also stabilized. Carbocation also stabilized, means first step ionization. Ionization preferably takes place in polar solvents. So in polar solvents also, where solvolysis predominantly takes place, that is the solvent which has more dielectric constant. Dielectric constant means ability to weaken the bond. So here in between carbon and leaving group, that bond is going to break. So more ability means more readily ions are going to generate. So first step, formation of carbocation, that is a slow step. Let's come to the second step. Once carbocation formation. So carbocation basically trigonal planar geometry, sp2 hybridization. Trigonal planar geometry and sp2 hybridization. Here positive charge is surrounded by 3 alkyl groups. It is very clear. All the 3 alkyl groups are basically plus I groups, electron releasing groups. That too, methyl groups means these methyl groups containing hydrogens are involved in hyperconjugation. Now with respect to this positive charge, this carbon is alpha, this carbon is alpha, this carbon is alpha. There are 3 alpha carbons and each alpha carbon consists 3 hydrogens. I am repeating once again. Positively charged carbon is called carbocation, which is sp2 hybridized trigonal planar geometry. And this positively charged carbon is surrounded with 3 alkyl groups. Alkyl groups are plus I groups. Being plus I groups, carbocation can be more stabilized. And instead of that alkyl group, if the alkyl group is methyl, then in such a case, that methyl carbon containing hydrogens are readily participated in hyperconjugation. Compared to inductive effect, hyperconjugation is more. That means carbocation can be more stabilized. Here there are 3 alpha carbons surrounded around carbocation, and each alpha carbon is attached to 3 alpha hydrogens. Like that, 9 alpha hydrogens are there. That means number of hyperconjugated structures, we can say number of alpha hydrogens plus 1 means 10 hyperconjugative structures. More the number of hyperconjugative structures, more the stability. So here it is very clear, tertiary carbocation is more stable and tertiary butyl carbocation is much more stable because of more number of hyperconjugative structures. Now being it is a planar, it has a planar geometry. Now attacking a nucleophile, here a nucleophile is not a negatively charged one. Like in previous session what we discussed in case of SN2, there are negatively charged nucleophile we used. Here we are not using any negatively charged nucleophile. Here we are using only simply neutral molecule, that is solvent molecule. Here alcohol we are using. Now this alcohol, oxygen contains 2 lone pairs. Now oxygen consisting lone pair come and attack upon this positively charged carbon. Since it acts as a nucleophile here, it acts as solvent molecule, acts as a nucleophile, and this oxygen containing lone pair come and attack upon positively charged carbon. Either way means in a plane, one plane here like this, all the 3 methyl groups. Now the approaching nucleophile either comes and attack up like this, or from the bottom, from the top or from the bottom. So what is the difference in between these two? That difference you can identify if positively charged carbon is attached to all different groups. In such a case only we can identify. Right now we cannot identify. That point we will discuss in stereochemistry of SN1. Right now here 3 alkyl groups and corresponding to 3 alkyl group trigonal planar carbocation attacking solvent and nucleophile come and attack of either direction, means above the plane or below the plane. Ultimately we are getting one more intermediate. This one is oxonium ion. Oxygen bears positive charge here. Tertiary butyl methyl oxonium ion. Later it want to lose proton. For that deprotonation, solvent molecule again acts as base. See here I mentioned that solvent molecule only nucleophile. Again here solvent molecule acts as base. So because here availability of proton is there, that's why it can act as base. In this case, in this step, there is no availability of proton, that's why it acts as a nucleophile. So here deprotonation by abstracting proton from this oxygen and it converts into CH3OH2 plus and product. So overall reaction, if we observe, first one, it is a multi-step process. Multi-step process. SN2 reaction, we discussed that it was a single step process. Single step, in one step reaction completed, proceeds via transition state intermediate. But SN1 reaction is not single step. SN1 reaction is a multi-step process and reaction proceeds not via transition state but via formation of carbocation. Via formation of carbocation. Carbocation is intermediate. Transition state is one state, one energy state, highest energy state. While forming carbocation also transition state exists. While forming carbocation also transition state exists. When reactant is converted into product, and a number of transition state may exist. So how many steps are involving? For each and every step there will be a transition state. Okay. Now formation of intermediate, that is carbocation, and formation of carbocation is a slow step, hence that is a rate determining step. Slow step and rate determining step. Now rate law, how to write here? Rate is equal to K into, in first step is slow step, first step only a rate determining step. In first step only tertiary butyl bromide is participated but not solvent or nucleophile. Nucleophile is not going to take part in first step. First step formation of carbocation, only substrate is involving in rate law. That means tertiary butyl bromide, means alkyl halide only, but not nucleophile. What we wrote for SN2? Rate is equal to K into concentration of substrate into concentration of nucleophile also we wrote there in SN2. But in case of SN1, only one. Since in rate law, one molecule is only going to participate, means first order with respect to substrate, we can say. So it is a unimolecular reaction. Hence we named as substitution nucleophilic unimolecular. One molecule only is going to take part in the reaction. So rate is equal to K into only substrate. Here a nucleophile is not going to take part in a rate determining step. Of course it is involving in mechanism, but where a nucleophile is involved, that is the first step, and where deprotonation, that is also first step. That first step is not necessary here, because rate of reaction always depends upon slow step but not fast step. Now nucleophile is not participated in rate determining step. That's why if we increase in concentration of nucleophile, rate is not going to change. Instead of 1 molar nucleophile, if you are going to use 10 molar, there is no difference. That means whether it is whatever the concentration of a nucleophile, that is not criteria. Here rate purely depending upon concentration of substrate. Now 2 questions are there. So far whatever we discussed, 2 questions are there. Question number 1. Sir, you only mentioned that in previous session alkyl halides are insoluble in water. And right now you only explained as water molecule we preferably are using because of its it has a more dielectric constant and it readily participates in solvation. Yes. Water molecule more solvation takes place, that is clear. At the same time tertiary butyl halide also less soluble in water. If first it dissolves, for example sodium chloride is there. Sodium chloride while dissolving in water, it readily dissociates into Na plus and Cl minus. Of course Na plus solvated by water molecule and Cl minus also solvated by water molecule. But in order to undergo solvation, or if water is solvent, that what we call the hydration, For hydration, first of all, bond breaking must. If bond breaking do not take place, there is no formation of ions. When there is no formation of ions, then how can you say that solvation takes place? No doubt, solvation energy is very high, much more amount of energy liberated, that energy will be utilized. Okay, first initiation required now. That's why what we are doing here, instead of only water, we are going to use alcohol also or acetone. So, which makes more soluble this alkyl halide in the given solution, given solvent. So, of course, even though we are using that different means alcohol or acetone, water molecule only acts as nucleophile, right? Now, the second question, you mentioned that this one is a slow step and this one is a fast step. How do you know? So, which step is a slow step and which step is a fast step, we cannot predict. That we can calculate from experimental data. Based on experimental analysis, we came to conclusion, yes, first step is a slow step and second step and third steps are fast steps. Fine. Why rate of reaction depends upon only slow step? Why rate of reaction depends upon only slow step? Why not depend upon fast step? Why rate is independent on fast step? Let us see. Consider one example, general concept. If you want to prepare one bicycle, you know bicycle, right? So, what materials generally we are going to use in the preparation of bicycle? Iron, steel and plastic, rubber, right? So many. One question, if you are going to pour plastic, rubber, iron and steel in one vessel, if you are going to stir continuously, after 1 hour or 2 hours or 2 days, are you getting bicycle? No. So, formation of a bicycle is not a single step process. It has multi steps. First we need to prepare rims, tires, tubes, handlebars, everything. Am I right? Suppose a person has a bicycle factory. In his factory, per day, 10,000 tires. How many? 10,000 means more, right? 10,000 tires, 20,000 rims, and various parts, pedals 40,000, and whatever the requirements for bicycle like bolts, nuts, everything, lakhs they are going to prepare. But handlebars per day only 5. How many? 5 handlebars they can prepare, manufacture. So, in the manufacture of a cycle, various steps are there. In various steps, whether it is the first step or last step or middle step, it is not criteria here. Various steps are there. So, we are preparing so many tires, tubes, rims, etc., etc., etc. But per day, that in that factory, only 5 handlebars are manufactured. Now, tell me answer for one question. Holy, how many bicycles that factory can manufacture per day? How many thousands? No, no. Hundreds? No. Tens? No. How many you are going to get? 5. Because if there is no handlebar, there is no cycle, right? So, we need to consider while a reaction proceeds in multi steps, of which ultimately how many molecules, reactant molecules are going to convert into products means which step is fast step? That is not a criteria. Fast step obviously happens. Ultimately depending upon only slow step. That's why rate of reaction depending upon only slow step. Even though these two steps are fast, we are not supposed to consider that one. We have to consider only rate determining step, slow step. Right. Now, here nucleophile is not participated, that's why rate of reaction is equal to K into concentration of substrate. And since reaction proceeds via formation of carbocation, so many times we discuss that. What is that? Wherever carbocation formation is there, rearrangements and ring expansions are possible. If there is ring, then expansion. Without ring, expansion is not possible. Right? And rearrangements, ring expansions are possible. Means you are supposed to get more than one product. You are supposed to get more than one product because of carbocation rearrangement takes place. So from one isomer you are getting more number of products. You should remember one word like stereospecific or stereoselective. You think we will discuss in stereochemistry. So more products you may get, of which one is a major product? Which one is a major product? The one, the carbocation, which is more stable. The carbocation which is more stable, that one will be that from that carbocation, the product what you are getting is major product. The carbocation which is a more stable, means from more stable carbocation, the product what we are getting is major product. Hope you got the point. So, okay, fine. But which carbocation is more stable, which carbocation is less stable? As previously we discussed that more the number of plus I groups or electron releasing groups, more the stability of carbocation. And if any electron withdrawing groups are there, the reduces the carbocation stability. In other words, while forming that carbocation, what amount of energy we have to provide? So activation energy, that what we called activation energy. More the activation energy of carbocation, less the stability. More the activation energy of carbocation, less the stability. Means for formation of that carbocation, we need to supply more energy. All that energy will be stored in that carbocation. So if it has more energy, then it will be highly unstable. That's why activation energy of rate determining step is inversely proportional to stability of carbocation. Let us come to this graph. Whatever so far we learned, and for that this graph gives all the information. So initially these are reactants, tertiary butyl halide and a nucleophile. Here a nucleophile may be solvent. Here solvent only nucleophile I am going to mention as R-OH or CH3OH solvent. Now first step, formation of carbocation, means solvolysis, breaking of bond. Ultimately you are getting two ions, one is cation, another one is anion. So for that, converting into cation, that what we call to carbocation, and that carbocation is intermediate. This I am going to mention as I1. I1 means intermediate one. So in order to convert reactant into intermediate, if you observe here, reactant's energy is less compared to intermediate. Not to scale, but relatively intermediate energy is more, because you only provided energy for breaking the bond. That energy was stored with these two ions. That's why intermediate energy is little bit more, not little bit more than reactants. Now directly reactants are not going to convert into intermediates. Just like these intermediates, if reactants want to convert into intermediates or products, first of all they have to get this much energy. This is what we call transition state. This is what we call transition state. So the qualification required to enter into IIT JEE, IITs advanced means IITs is +2, right? But those who are passed out +2, they are not getting direct seat in IIT. They should complete their +2. In addition to that, they have to clear one competitive exam. Of course, not one, two examinations. That means the two transition states are there. Here only one transition state. Got it? Here reactants +2 people. Of course, this one is intermediate or IIT, whatever it may be, product. So in order to go from here to here, that reactant molecules, we are not drawing off like this. We are drawing like this, means they should get this much energy. This is the energy, the minimum energy of reactant molecules which require, to form products. That what we call transition state. And the difference in between transition state and reactant molecules energy, what we called activation energy. So first peak is nothing but first transition state and first intermediate. First transition state, first intermediate. Let's come. After formation of this intermediate carbocation, further means after formation of carbocation, what happened? Nucleophile approaches to the carbocation. So when a nucleophile approaches, there is one more intermediate, that what we call oxonium ion, that I mentioned as I2. Compared to first one, second one more energy, that's why showing a little bit more energy. But this, as I said, that energy difference in between these two, what we call the activation energy, first step activation energy, and this is the second step activation energy. If you observe, it is very clear, second step activation energy is less. Second step activation energy is less means what? That reaction proceeds more fast. If more the activation energy, less the rate. More the activation energy, less the rate. More the activation energy, stability of carbocation is less. More the activation energy of carbocation is more. You have to select that. So first step, substrate converts into intermediate one. That intermediate one is nothing but carbocation. And for that you are getting one peak. That peak what we call the transition state. Here difference in energy between transition state and reactants is called activation energy. And later this carbocation next step, when it goes to next step, here second activation energy, and this one is third activation energy. So first high activation energy compared to that EA2 is less, EA3 is much less, means first step is much slow, second step is somewhat fast compared to first step, and third step is much more fast. Like that we have to analyze. So overall intermediates here number 1, number 2, reactants and products. In between reactants and products, intermediates number 1, number 2. Transition states TS1, TS2, TS3. That means number of intermediates, number of peaks or number of transition states are nothing but number of intermediates plus 1. I am repeating, number of transition states is equal to number of intermediates plus 1, or number of intermediates is equal to number of transition states minus 1. So in this case, actually we use that methyl alcohol which is neutral nucleophile. Instead of that, if there is no protonation, if we are using any negatively charged one, and the third step will not be there. In such a case, you are getting only 2 peaks and only 1 intermediate. Hope you got. Here a neutral nucleophile we use, that's why third step also you are getting. Deprotonation also third step. Whereas if you are using charged one, then obviously only 2 stages, 2 steps, means 1 intermediate, 2 transition states. Alright. Now some other points regarding SN1.